Hi Leos, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. I am working on your February reading, which is pretty interesting. So I want to start by going over a little bit of the astrology for you guys. February's a bit of a feeling month, which is not, it's not particularly a hard energy for Leo, but there's a lot that's going to be taking place in your 8th house, which is a house of transformation. So although I don't see a lot of action and change and manifesting in the 3D version of your life, I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes and a lot that's happening emotionally and things that the Leo might want to kind of go through quickly, kind of charge the situation, go at it with passion and embrace the change like a Leo can do at times. I think the energy is asking you, as we go through a retrograde Mercury in your 8th house, Neptune, Venus is there right now. It's a time where, and remember, it's forming a square right now to Mars, which is your 5th house. So it's sort of the conflict between maybe a romanticized way of going through life, relying on your creativity, maybe really starting to attack the dating scene, if this is, because it is very much about how we connect with others. And there's a conflict between keeping it light and romantic and like the arena that Leo is typically very good in, which is the beginning, the chase, let's just say. But there's so much going on in your 8th house, which is, the kind of intimacy that happens after a commitment, the kind of really deep emotional sharing, deep levels of getting to know one another that you can't achieve from that 5th house area of your life. So this is a transformative process. And right now, I think it's just a matter of choosing what you're willing to go with at this time and what you're ready for. As well, you have Mars right now moving through that 5th house, and towards the end of the month, it's going to move into Capricorn. So when Mars moves into Capricorn, it's kind of making this powerhouse again in that 6th house. You went through a lot of 6th house matters with the eclipses and with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that just occurred on January 12th. So this isn't unfamiliar territory for you. However, it is highlighting it. It is giving you the ambition and the drive to tackle the issues that came up now. Mars is kind of giving strength to Jupiter and strength to Saturn, all in the home of Saturn. So it's building that self-discipline. It's restructuring. You could be experiencing issues with maybe employees or people that work under you, and restructuring in that way. There could be issues with your health. When Mars moves over larger points and aspects that we experience, it sort of triggers things. So if you are having health issues around the end of December to mid-January, those may flare up, or you may get information. There could be surgeries or follow-ups when Mars triggers those points. So keep that in mind. And at the same time that we're going through this again, I want to mention that we will be having another Mercury retrograde. It happens 4 times a year. It's not that big of a deal. It's not nearly as scary as, the memes would cause you to believe. But that's going on in your 8th house. So that's another way that you sort of revisit the past. And get comfortable with the way that the past has the ability to transform your future, and you get comfortable with the ideas of beginnings and endings and cycles in life. And when things end, the energy has no choice but to return or deliver something in its place. And so it's just the waiting. It's the waiting for that replacement energy, or for even getting to know yourself well enough to know what you want to manifest next. And that leads me directly into these cards because they are interlinking so well. And again, I bring up the attachment or the connection you have with others. You have the sun moving through your 7th house right now in Aquarius. So there is a little bit of enlightenment going on in your contracts. If this is about work, it could be finding out new information or making new connections to people that could be possible business partners. And right now, even though it doesn't seem like it, we're doing things that are really building for our future. We're doing things that are going to be here for the long run. When Saturn and Pluto are involved, those are nearly 40-year cycles, and that's what we're setting off at this time. So if you're just talking to somebody, getting to know someone on a personal basis, on a business relationship, kind of keep your eye open for people that are walking into your life at this time, or opportunities that are coming, contracts that are presented to you at this time. Again, Mercury retrograde, it's not a great time to sign a contract, but you could certainly toss those ideas around and make it move a little bit towards the middle to end of March, if at all possible. You've had Neptune going through your 8th house for a while now. This is not unfamiliar to you. It's not a new transit. It is getting triggered, though, because Venus is moving through it. Mercury is going to move through it, retrograde through it. And then the sun will come in at the end of February into Pisces. So it's definitely a growing period. And so the first card out, and the energy that I think you're in this month, Leo, is Temperance. So let's talk about alchemy. There are probably areas in your life where you keep bumping your head against the same wall over and over and not really understanding. You may think that you've changed your techniques. You may think that you've done things to protect yourself, when in fact these things keep happening and there's more to learn, and you have no choice but to really review, again, this retrograde Mercury thing, reevaluate your past from a different perspective, I think. And then you start to learn the lessons, and you start to appreciate. Alchemy is a lot about the appreciation of what the bad experiences have made you into, where you become grateful for the grief, where you become grateful for the disappointments, where you can actually resonate and understand rejection and resentments in your life and see how it's built you into the person that you are. It's given you the gifts that you have in your life, but you also now have to empower the ability to only hold those lessons at a higher perspective and not carry the emotional baggage of them. So you have to be wise from the struggle, not heavy from the struggle. And that's really the part of alchemy where you start to transform that energy from the negative into the positive. And it grows with the same amount of strength as the negative things had grown. crossing that is the Seven of Cups. This is the card of Neptune. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that right now you're going through this 8th house transit, this need for connection. It's in Pisces, so it's where the boundaries are blurred a little. You may be in a real state of confusion right now. There's a sense of confusion around you, and almost a willingness to be comfortable in the dark right now, in the not knowing, in the sensing and the feeling of things instead of the thinking and the doing of things in February. I think allowing yourself time to get to know yourself on a different level, maybe through other connections or through these experiences that you are being given at the time. You don't have to know your intentions. You don't have to know the necessary outcome, the bigger plan. I think that February is a break from that kind of energy. We've done it for so long. We've had so much pressure with Saturn here, and not that that's going to go away. It's not. We're going to have that with us all year. That need for discipline, the need for advancement and achievement and accomplishing of the goals and the getting organized and the growing up and the Saturn part of things. But in February, the universe wants you to learn a little bit more about your higher being, about your intuition, about how you manifest things into you. Below you, you have the Knight of Swords. So, Leo, I think your instinct at this time, or what you're afraid of, is beginning to let those thoughts come in. You may be in a situation where you don't know where it's going, but it feels really wonderful and you feel comfortable here. And then those thoughts come charging in, the what ifs, what if this happens, what if that happens, the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the intellectualizing of the situation. That's what the universe does not want you to do at this time. Because what this experience is bringing you is the Star. So whatever this experience is, it appears to be quite healing in the month of February. There's an opportunity for some really deep healing. And we're going through some transits now, and the moon will be moving into Aries soon, which always brings up, the monthly trigger of Chiron. Chiron being in your 9th house of your beliefs. As an adult, and as we get older, we carry these beliefs that we've had from childhood, and then things happen like Uranus going through your 10th, just Aquarius energy and personal revelations. Things happen to really shake us up, and then we start to wonder, well, why did I believe that in the first place? What are those boundaries that I've followed all of my life? What are they for? How are they protecting me? And it's sort of a reevaluating of, what do I believe in because I was told to believe in it? And what do I believe in because I've experienced it and I know for myself? Now, the Star energy also talks to me about there's fear in all of this feeling and this connection. There is a fear of being vulnerable. And Leo, this speaks to me so much for you because you put so much pressure on yourself to be the leader, to set the standards, to be the example. You put a lot of pressure on yourself to perform and to provide for the people that you love. And in a way, I think that there's a stoicism to that, where you have to maybe hide when your feelings are hurt, or when you are starting to come undone and something's bothering you. There is a need to hide your needs and your vulnerabilities, and so you're stepping into a connection in which you don't have a choice. There is a part of you that wants this deep connection and wants to experience maybe a spiritual level of connection. But then there's that fear that maybe that other person can see you and recognize wounds and weaknesses in the Leo. And this is when the universe says, now it's time to learn that you're okay. There is a stripping of the ego here, which is something that Leo has been having to do, I think, for the past several years since we had the nodes in the Leo and Aquarius eclipses. That was back in 2017 maybe. I think Leos have had to really get to know themselves again, rebuild and restructure, and now you're getting to a place where you're secure in yourself, and it's time to allow others in, and there's something very scary about that. Advice from the universe is the Two of Wands. And so, first of all, this is one of my favorite cards because it talks to me about the doorway, the portal, the path. And he holds the world in his hand. So it's sort of like having anything you could possibly wish for, and you can have it, and realizing your ability to manifest the things that you truly desire. And if you did realize how very powerful your thoughts and your manifestations are, if you truly believed in that power, how would you use it? What would you manifest in your life? And really ask yourself that now, because it's kind of going to get you to a place where you could understand this transit and what you're starting to learn. You know, what is it that you really truly value? What do you want to build your future on? Because you're looking out and you're assessing all of these opportunities, all these different directions that your life can take you in. You know, you could move across the world, you could fall in love and get married, you could take a new job opportunity, completely change your career. There's all of these options are ripe right now, and it's whatever you want. But you have to learn the lessons, and you have to build on the things that you've learned, and you have to have patience with yourself as you get to know who you truly are. Because the last thing that the universe wants to do is bring you a bunch of crap that you decided you wanted from a lower vibration point, and which doesn't even resonate with you anymore. There's a responsibility in the manifestation, right? It is the planning of your future. And then you have the Knight of Wands. And so this is the universe telling you to go slow. Slow down, Leo. I know that you are a fire sign, but you are a fixed fire sign. You do have the patience. You do not operate well in rapid movement and change. So you can harness this temperance energy and this allowing to just see what grows from these situations and not to put so much pressure on yourself. Choose wisely in what you want to invest in. That's always with the Knight of Pentacles. There's a responsibility and a slowness and a groundedness about it. And that's why I don't think that this is going to be an issue for you if you stay grounded. If you're responsible with the manifestations, if they come from a place of who you truly are and not a place of greed or envy or competitiveness. Just this really soft place that you're getting to know for the first time. This vulnerable, naked place that you get to be in, where you get to be seen. And the energy overall is the Two of Pentacles. So Leo, I think there's a little bit of you weighing maybe just two options. Yes, I suppose there could be two different people that you're weighing options with. It could be two different job offers. It could just quite simply be two different ways of life. Okay? One serves your ego. One serves your material needs. You know, maybe you're facing a decision between taking a promotion, which is going to cause you to work 80 hours a week, but you're going to have a lot more money and a lot more freedom to travel, to buy the big house, to have all the children, to have the big wedding. But then the other choice is to quite simply drop off the grid and live cheaply and, you know, I mean, some kind of crazy story like that, where you relinquish the material side of things and you go after what your heart truly desires. I'm not saying those are the two options, but that's just kind of the dichotomy of this. Really looking at your life and just seeing that it could be pretty much however you want it to be. The opportunities are endless, so where do you want to go? What do you want to dream about, Leo? Quite simply, I think the title of this reading is What Do You Want? It's all there for you. What you don't want to do, what universe really does not want you to do, the worst thing that you could do right now is the Nine of Swords. It's the overthinking. It's the anticipatory anxiety of the unknowing. It's the not being able to sleep at night and needing a plan, needing feedback, needing other people to comfort you or talk to you or tell you what to do or give you an overload of advice. That's not where you should be this month. Again, this month is in the feeling, it's in the knowing. Thoughts are not your friend this month. Think them, let them go. Think them and then give yourself that test of, is this coming from ego? Is this thought coming from a place of fear, or is this thought coming from a place of love? I think a lot of this is about learning the difference between fear and love. And I see that here. You know, the difference between the need for security and the need for really deep love and acceptance. You know, or what are we selling our souls for? There's so many different ways we can look at this, and I'm sure all of the Leos out there are having a much different experience, but the energy is the same. And it is kind of a re-identification of who you are and what you represent in your life. The astrology cards I pulled for you speak to me exactly the same. Because you have the 4th house and the lunar eclipse. So I talked to you a lot about this 8th house transit that you'll be experiencing through February. The 8th house is, it is the house of transformation, of death and rebirth, beginnings and endings. The lunar eclipse is, again, endings. Endings of cycles, of karmic contracts. My ears are ringing right now like crazy. So the 8th house transit is a little bit about the knowing the mortality, accepting that not everything is meant to last forever, but it may leave an imprint in you that does last forever. And it's things that happen to you that change you in ways that you could never go back. It is the caterpillar, you know, and emerging as the butterfly. You have the card of the alchemy. And the 4th house astrology card talks to me about who you are at a soul level. The 8th house is a lot about your past life and what you bring into this lifetime. And so is the 4th house. It's about your childhood. It's about your parents, how you were raised, the emotional traumas that you may have experienced as a child or within your family lineage. And the lunar eclipse brings another layer of healing, the opportunity to heal those things, to know those things, to be familiar with them. A chance to rebuild who you are, what speaks to your soul. Yeah. A lot of transformation, Leo. It's really a beautiful energy. And again, the message is just to be patient and just feel, allow yourself to feel and experience all of it. Try not to limit yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. No negative self-talk at all, Leo. That shit has to go. You know, you have to exude confidence. You have to have that high vibration in order to bring this in. It's so important with the manifesting power that you hold within you right now. You know, you have to keep all of that intellectual self-doubt, inferiority, trust issues. You have to leave that behind. And that's what I talk about with the, you know, you have a thought that comes into your head, or you start to question or not trust someone. And then you just sort of have to check yourself. Did that come from my ego? Did that come from fear? Am I speaking out of unconditional love and acceptance? And I just want to keep telling everybody I see this month, be open to everything and attached to nothing. Because that's how you're meant to experience life. You know, this idea, the Saturn brings us this idea that things have to stay for a long time. There has to be intentions and contracts and promises. But that could also be limiting. And you could be missing out on opportunities, or just missing out on the opportunity to let something unfold naturally in that way, instead of forcing it and needing to obtain or consume something like that. I want to pull an animal spirit card for you. At least one. Let's see what pops out from Leos. Okay, you got 2. Woo! What am I saying? Oh, I love when these work out so beautifully. Okay, so you got raccoon spirit. Oh my God, are they not the most beautiful animal though? Like really, I was just telling my girlfriend the other day. I had a friend when I was a kid that had a raccoon as a pet, which is probably like horrible on the raccoon. And I don't advise that for anybody. But they're flipping cute, right? When they're not ripping your face off. You also got the golden egg. So this is big. These are big energies for you this month and a lot of opportunity. So let's take a look at this raccoon here. Talented, shadowy, and in hiding. Raccoon energy is at play within all artists to greater or lesser degrees. At best, it indicates talent, tenacity, and skillfulness with a particular musical instrument or creative tool. Its shadow side points to an unresolved issue around self-image and success. Sometimes using a stage name or wearing a mask works in an artist's favor. Other times it limits creativity. Am I who my audience thinks I am? What if I am ready to grow into something more? Raccoon energy won't let us off the hook until this creative ego fear is resolved. When in balance, you are generous, a generous friend, an exceptional artist. When out of balance, you are competitive and a starving artist. And to bring into balance, you need to make new work. So that's more of how are you identifying with your ego, Leo, that mask that you wear. And so it's telling you that what you want to do right now is to be in that area in your life where you don't have to wear that mask. Allow yourself to enter this realm of being vulnerable and open, because Leo has to carry this energy with them all the time. There's always, like I talked about, that stoicism with the Leo, and so this is a time period for you to take that mask off, to let this other person or this other situation truly see you for who you are. And then you got the golden egg. Oh, Lord. Okay. Golden egg. Message at the center of the heart, the unstruck sound. Within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard, nor the message discerned until we retreat from the noise of modern day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. No rushing, pushing, or grasping. Find a place of deep and restful ease, perhaps through yoga or meditation, or Star Wars, whatever. If you do not yet have a meditation practice, take some time for introspection or contemplation. When the mind begins to settle and the breath is calm, ask the question that weighs heaviest on your heart, staying open to any response you hear. Engaging with the energy of the golden egg is an advanced practice. It requires becoming intimate with our very essence and comfortable with vulnerability. When a feeling of tenderness or gratitude arises from deep within you, know that you are well on your way. Your chest may swell like you are seeing an old friend that's been away for a long time. Listen to the message they've been waiting to tell you. Like, it could be more beautiful, right? All right, Leo, so I'm pretty sure you got the message there. Be vulnerable. Stay open. Remember, you're manifesting a whole new phase of your life. You get to recreate something right now from scratch in the most perfect form. So choose wisely and choose something that serves your heart. Something that speaks to you and will continue to speak to you and love you the way that a Leo can love, which is really special. All right, Leo, you'll be hearing from me soon. I'm going to come up mid-month with the new love readings, but in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.